Welcome to another episode of the Black Dot Podcast, Healing for the Soul. You guys, I have a question for y'all. Right? You know, I love to talk to y'all and be real with y'all as I do this. So I was sitting one day and I was wondering. I was like, what am I going to talk about on this next episode? Right? And I was kind of stuck between like multiple things. And like sometimes you spend so much time in your head and it's like you have to find your way out of that because like you get so stuck that you don't even really do what it is that you're planning to do. I was having one of those moments, right? um and I decided what I wanted to talk about today was boundaries. And when I say boundaries, I mean like these are the lines that you can't cross with me type of thing, right? Have you ever had a moment where you had to really like check somebody and let somebody know this is what you won't do or this is what I won't allow? You ever had one of those moments? And it could be with a friend, it could be like with family members, it could be with a significant other, it don't matter. But have you ever had those times where you had to really like let somebody know, yo, this ain't about to go like this, right? Well, y'all, the biggest lesson I've had to learn in my life was how to set clear boundaries. And oftentimes, and y'all know I like to tell y'all my business as I do this. Um, a lot of times, in trying to grow and in trying to evolve into the version of me that I feel like I am now, um, I've had to learn how to really, you know, understand why people, was doing me the way they were doing me, right? Like people would try to like take advantage of me, or people would, try to really like get close to me so they could hurt me. Like it bothered me, and it bothered me for years. And I remember I was having a conversation with somebody and somebody told me the realest thing, but it was so simple, but it was so real. Somebody was like, people are only going to do what you allow them to do. I'll repeat it again. People are only going to do what you allow them to do. And when I tell you that cleared up so many different things for me, like what does that mean? Like what does that like really mean? I had to have the person explain it to me. The person was like, you have to realize that people, they take advantage of you because you let them. People, talk to you any kind of way because you let them. If you tell somebody that this is what we will not do, this is what I'm not going to allow you to do, if they can't follow or if they can't respect what it is that you're telling them, they're not for you. And it kind of changed the way I looked at situations, like across the board, like seriously. So many times, you guys, we are allowing people to really do us dirty, and we allow people to really like come and steal the peace that we have. Like people really, like, you ever heard people say like the devil comes to kill, steal, and destroy, right? You ever heard that? Believe it or not, it's not just the devil, it's people. People come to do the exact same thing. And I mean, they wake up with a purpose of, I'm going to mess up that person's joy. I'm going to mess up that person's peace. I'm going to mess up that person's whatever it is good that you have going on. They wake up to try and purposely mess that up. But the one thing that I have to really like, you know, call is that what I see mostly going on, I see it mostly in a lot of our family dynamics today. Like if you check social media and you check like so many of us are going through trauma. So many of us are going through things with our families. And it could be a bad relationship with your mom, a bad relationship with your dad. It could be a toxic relationship, a toxic friendship, a toxic work environment. Whatever it is, a lot of us are going through these things. And the one thing that I notice across the board is a lot of us, struggle to have boundaries, but also struggle to maintain those boundaries. And I know for me, when it came to, family dynamics, I had to really, check myself. And what I mean by that is like a lot of things, and my mom can tell you, I would get like pissed at like a lot of things that, my family would do. And like I would tell her, Mom, such and such did this, such and such that, such and such this, this is how he is, this is how, boom, 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 boom. And for some odd reason, one day it clicked. It just, I don't know what it was. You ever had like one of those light bulb moments, like the light bulb turns on and you get an idea? The light bulb turned on, right? And when I tell you, something in me was like, set boundaries, set clear boundaries, you know. And I had that idea, but then it didn't really dawn on me until I went to therapy. And when I went to therapy, as the therapist, you and the therapist start, they ask you what's going on, give me a little background of what you're dealing with. And like she stopped me and she was like, what you're telling me is a lot. It's a lot. And we both started laughing. And I was like, I know. She was like, where are your boundaries at in all of this? And I was like, what do you mean? She was like, when I say boundaries, what is the button for you? And when I say button, I mean if me and you are friends, me and you are cool or whatever, what is the line that I can't cross with Marquise? What is that line? What is that line that Marquise is not going to tolerate me, going over or crossing? And I was like, I don't really have none of those. And, I had to really like sit and really, like she told me, like, this is what I want you to do for homework. This is what I want you to do. And shout out to Miss April. This is my therapist, the best therapist in the world. Miss April told me for homework, this is what I want you to do. I want you to come up with a list of boundaries. And these boundaries, it could be for whatever situation, for whoever, I don't care. But I want you to come up with boundaries. And when you come up with these boundaries in our next session, we are going to break down each one of these boundaries. We're going to break down why these boundaries are set. We are going to come up with best practices on how to maintain these boundaries. And we're also going to come up with best practices on how to deal with people who don't respect these boundaries. And, as I sat down, I remember like, I'm trying to remember the boundaries that I wrote down because it was so long ago. I remember one of the biggest boundaries that I set for myself was I'm not going to let anybody talk down to me. And because I think for me for so long, I'm a big person on it's not what you say, but how you say it. Your delivery, you cannot just say whatever, however to me. Like you can't. If you're trying to convey something to me and you're trying to really get me to understand it, I need your delivery to be right. Because if you just come to me, well, this is why you need to do this is that, I'm gonna instantly be on guard. Like, okay, wait now, I don't need to do nothing. Let's chill. Let's chill for a minute. But if you're telling me, okay, Mo, I need you to understand this is why, or this is what you see the difference in that versus I'm telling you what you need to what you need to do or what you need to. Instead of me doing that, I'm telling you, okay, this is why I'm saying you need to do this. This is what I'm saying. That's the difference there. I remember one of the other boundaries that I had was um, I need for people to really understand, you can't just tell me I have an attitude. And when I say that, I know some people are like, well, how is that a boundary? How is that? For me, I've always dealt with people not understanding the difference between an attitude and moments where I'm not myself. If I'm going through a problem with depression or I'm going through a problem where I'm inside my head because I have a tendency to really, sit inside my head and overthink a lot of things. I really do. If I'm going through one of those moments and I'm kind of shut down or whatever. It's not an attitude. It's just I'm working through some stuff. Like I'm seriously working through some stuff. And because I don't want to lash out at you, or I don't want to, you know, come off the wrong way towards you, I need you to give me a minute. Give me a minute. Let me breathe. Let me breathe. Um, so for me, that was a real big boundary, like a really, really big boundary. And with these boundaries, I want everybody listening to this to understand this. With these boundaries, one of the biggest things that I learned in setting boundaries, people will try to make you feel like you are the bad guy for having standards for how you want to be treated. People will really make you feel bad for that. Like they will make you feel like, oh, okay, you're standoffish, or oh, you're this, you're that. Because no, it's not that. It's just you can't talk to me any kind of way. You can't treat me any kind of way. I'm not gonna sweep it under the rug just cause we friends or just cause we go together or just cause we family. No, I'm not sweeping it under the rug. If you want me to treat you with a certain love, certain respect, you have to treat me with that. Or else I'm gonna have to love you from afar. People were really trying to make you think that you are the bad guy for that. And I don't want anybody who's listening to this. Don't sit and let somebody make you think you're the bad guy because you want to be treated a certain way. We all have the right to be true to how we want to be treated. We all have the right to decide, I'm not going to let you disrespect me. I'm not going to let you talk down to me. I'm not going to let you belittle me. I'm not going to let you just say this or say that or do that or do this. We have that right to decide. And so many times, one of the things that I realized for me is that the people who really love me, they'll understand those boundaries. They'll understand. They're not going to push back. If they have questions, of course they'll ask, but they're not going to just say, "Oh, okay, well, screw your boundaries. I don't care about that." No, they'll say, "You know what? I get it. I understand. Cool." You know what I'm saying? Or they'll ask whatever questions they have. I I'm a big believer in believing people for who they are the first time. And I say that with this because, when it comes to boundaries, for people who don't respect your boundaries, take them for what they show you. Because if you can't respect that this is the way I want to be treated, you might not be for me, player. You might not be for me. If you can't respect that, you can't talk to me no kind of way, you can't treat me no kind of, I might not be for you. You might not be for me. And that's cool. You know, I wish you all the peace and blessings, but over there at your table and I'll be at mine. That's cool. You know, I wonder how many of you are in a situation right now, or you've been in a situation. Like I said, I don't care what the situation is, relationship, work, friendship, family, whatever it is. How many of you right now are in a situation where you need to set boundaries, or you want to, but you're afraid to? Or maybe, just maybe here, you've set boundaries, but you don't know how to maintain those boundaries. How many of you are in a situation where, like, just like that, like just what I said, right? If you are, the biggest best practice that I can tell you is you definitely have to be okay with letting some people go. And what I mean by that is sometimes people are in our lives for a reason and a season. And sometimes as we elevate in our lives, as we go to new levels, one of the things that I realize is God is not going to let everybody come along with me just because I want them to come along with me. Because a lot of times as you elevate, you realize that certain people can't come on the journey with you because they're on their own journey, or else they're not equipped to give you what you need to propel your journey. That's gonna go over somebody's head. But it's real. It's real. Everybody's not meant to go on the journey with you. And as you look at the people around you, look at their actions, look at the way they handle things, look at their mentality, look at the things that motivate them. Some of you might know the person that I'm talking about when I say that they're not meant to always go on the journey with you. It just happens. But I want everybody listening to this. I want you to come up. I'm gonna give you the same homework assignment that my therapist gave me. Right. I want you to come up with 5 boundaries, no matter what the situation is. Like I said, come up with 5 boundaries. Five, just five. And I want you to start from the time you listen to this episode. I want you to start implementing those boundaries. And I want you to start really trying to practice maintaining those boundaries. And if there's a conversation that you need to have to explain those boundaries, hey, don't be afraid to explain why your boundaries are in place. Do not be afraid, because sometimes people need to understand. And sometimes, like I always say, you never know what a conversation could do. So don't be afraid to explain those boundaries. But if you need help, I want you to do this homework practice here. 5 boundaries, write them down, and I want you to start implementing them. And I want you to really try to maintain them. And I want to know, do you see a difference in the relationships that you are frustrated about? Maybe that's the right word. Are you seeing a difference in the relationships that you're frustrated about? Are you seeing an improvement? Are you seeing some disappointment? Are you kind of riding the line? It's still the same. What differences do you see? I want to know. You can DM me. You can whatever. I want to know. How I want you to tell me, what is it that you notice once you implement these boundaries? Because life is too much, y'all, to be stressed and depressed, fighting over foolishness that it ain't that deep, man. It ain't that deep, man. Life is stressful enough, and I refuse to allow some knuckleheads to knock off my blessing that God is, getting ready for me. So I want y'all all to start implementing those boundaries and make sure that they're clear. Make sure that you know can't nobody, don't let nobody play you about your boundaries, because it's time we really really start enjoying life. All the foolishness we got going on in this world today, man. If nothing else, we should be enjoying the life we got. So start implementing those boundaries. Start coming up with those boundaries. Start maintaining those boundaries so that we can have healthy and happier relationships and friendships and families and all that good stuff. And you know, don't be afraid to have to love somebody from afar. You know what I'm saying? Loving somebody from afar is much better than hating them. Trust me. I'm telling you what I know. So I wish y'all all the best on y'all healing experience on your journey. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. This one is kind of a different episode because I'm just kind of talking and I'm partaking in some teleports. So that's that's probably why this is a little different. But I needed to get this off my heart to y'all. Just a little checkup episode. So I wish y'all all the best on your healing journey. Until next time, my friends. Commission.
By any means, stay moving, gotta go hard. Rarely getting sleep, focus, making figures large. Everybody down till it's time to play a part. No time to lounge, put that lazy shit in park. By any means, be the man with the plan. Why waste time when you can be making cash? Forever with some no, but the shows that I can. She ain't about the business, then don't wanna, yeah, I pass. Fuck it, tell the boys they should start retreating. Fuck it, tell the boys that it's fugal season.